Good Monday morning. Just getting up to 6:01 here on Breakfast Television. Police are investigating a hit and run that sent two pedestrians to hospital in Surrey last night. It happened at around 9 o'clock at 72nd Avenue and 130th Street. Police say a man and a woman were crossing 72nd Avenue in a marked crosswalk. They were hit by a vehicle heading north on 130th when it made a right-hand turn. That vehicle did not stop and then sped away. The car is described as a white or light-colored vehicle, possibly a Mazda, with damage to the hood. The pedestrians are being treated for several fractures to their lower bodies. Anyone who has information is asked to contact police. Vancouver police are investigating a violent sexual assault on the city's east side. Police say a 35-year-old woman was walking on the east lane of Joy Street near Archimedes Street on Saturday night when she was dragged into a car. She was then driven to an area near East 45th Avenue and Rupert Street where she was sexually assaulted and stabbed. The woman managed to fight off her attacker and is now recovering in hospital.
It's midnight on a Saturday. In areas that are generally pretty busy with pedestrians and traffic. We believe that there were people that saw it, or at least saw something. They may have dismissed it as something not quite as serious. We'd really like to hear from them.
Officers say she may have been targeted because the attacker thought she was a sex trade worker. Another teenager has died following Friday's shooting at a high school north of Seattle. The 14-year-old girl passed away last night. This is the third death in connection with last week's incident when a student opened fire in the school's cafeteria. Another girl was killed on Friday. The shooter died from a self-inflicted wound. 3 other students are still in hospital this morning. 2 of them are in critical condition. 1 is listed as being in serious condition. A former RCMP officer who was involved in a fatal hit-and-run 6 years ago is expected back in court today. Monty Robinson will stand trial for perjury in connection with the death of Polish immigrant Robert Jakanski at Vancouver International Airport. The former corporal was found guilty of obstruction of justice in 2012 after he hit and killed a man who was riding his motorcycle in Delta. Robinson was found guilty after he admitted he rushed home and drank 2 shots of vodka just after the crash. He never received any jail time. The man accused of killing 3 RCMP officers in Moncton, New Brunswick earlier this year could get consecutive life terms in jail for the multiple murders. Justin Bork appears in court today for the start of a 2-day sentencing hearing, and because his case involves multiple deaths, he could get the harshest sentence since the death penalty was abolished. The 24-year-old could be sentenced to up to 75 years in prison before he's eligible to apply for parole. However, legal scholars say it's unlikely he'll face the maximum penalty. Well, brace yourself for another powerful wet weather system that is heading straight for the south coast. The remains of Tropical Storm Anna are expected to hit the lower mainland tonight, which means heavy rainfall and extremely large puddles like we saw last week could be on the way as well. Russell Kate saying we could see some significant rainfall in parts of Metro Vancouver between tonight and tomorrow morning. BC Hydro says its crews are preparing to deal with significant power outages as well.
BC Hydro prepares for storm season all year round. We do have a team of in-house meteorologists that track storms, so we know that they're going to hit before they hit. This allows us to ramp up things like our BC Hydro crews, contractor crews, and call center staff so that we can ensure when the lights do go out that we're ready to respond right away.
It's also a good idea to have an emergency kit in your home for when a storm does hit, including things like water, food, and flashlights. Public tours of Parliament Hill will resume in Ottawa today. The grounds had been off limits until Friday night after Michael Zahaf-Bibeau gunned down a Canadian soldier at the National War Memorial last Wednesday. He then stormed Centre Block on Parliament Hill. Visitors and people who work on the Hill can expect to see more police officers at the entrances to buildings in the area. A full regimental funeral for 24-year-old Corporal Nathan Cirillo is going to be held in Hamilton, Ontario tomorrow. A public visitation will be held for the fallen soldier in Hamilton today. Thousands of people paid their respects to Nathan Cirillo as he made his final journey back to his hometown on Friday along Ontario's Highway of Heroes. Cirillo's family issued a statement over the weekend thanking Canadians for their support. The 24-year-old will be buried in a field of honor at a Hamilton cemetery. Vigils for Corporal Cirillo are also growing right across the country. In Vancouver, tributes and flowers are being laid at the Victory Square Cenotaph. Veterans are also standing guard at the War Memorial. Well, it is municipal election day in Ontario, and that means the people of Toronto will have to decide if they want to extend the Ford brothers' reign over at Toronto City Hall. Rob Ford announced last month, of course, he would not be seeking re-election for mayor as he battles a rare and difficult form of cancer. His brother, City Councillor Doug Ford, is running in his place. Political experts have been speculating that John Tory, a straight-laced moderate conservative, is being favoured as the best contrast to the Ford family. Analysts say Olivia Chow's campaign seems to have lost momentum as people look to vote strategically to ensure Doug Ford doesn't win.